Do I think the pictures are appropriate
Mhm.
for viewing?
Mhm.
I believe so. I mean, we are on a college campus. It's
Mhm.
educated. They don't do it to offend anyone.
Mhm.
That's their right.
Okay.
That's what they feel. You go with what you feel.
Mhm.
Just like it's people's right to abort. It's their right. I think it's okay, and I feel like it's okay for them to show those graphic pictures because that's real life.
Mhm.
That's what's going on, and
Do you think that showing those kind of graphic images is okay anywhere, or should it be specific to a certain place, or
I
how do you,
think showing the pictures anywhere is just fine because it is the real. It's the reality, you know.
even around kids or maybe other genders, like even men? Do you think it would bother either of those groups?
It may bother everybody, but I don't see anything wrong with it personally.
Have you heard of a group called Justice for All?
Yes, I have heard of Justice for All.
All right. And how do you know about them, or what do you know about them?
They are a group that's seeking to provide justice for unborn children who are victims of abortion or possible could become victims of abortion.
All right. And have you happened to see any of their displays when they come to campus?
I have. They normally bring a large, like 10-foot tall little screen that has images on it.
Mm-hmm. When you see that kind of picture, like what kind of emotion does that evoke in you?
Initially, I was kind of afraid to look at them because I wasn't sure how much I wanted to see. Uh, it's because they are kind of very graphic. It's something that's like, do I want that burned into my brain for all of time? So initially, I was reluctant to look at them.
Do you think that it's appropriate for groups like this to be able to use these kind of graphic images to get their points across?
I think that the purpose of graphic images is to uh, shock people into realizing what exactly is going on. Graphic images in the past have been they've been useful for showing people exactly what the situation is. If you think of images from the Holocaust or images that were shown during the Civil Rights Movement or images during the Vietnam War or the other protests like that, it's very it's very gruesome and it's tough to watch. But then it turns out that once you see things like that and understand exactly what's happening, then they can create a greater change than just a dialogue about it.
So do you think it's appropriate for these things to be shown on a college campus? Like it would be a good environment for
I
these
think
to be seen?
I think it is good to see those images. It's not comfortable to see them a lot, and if you are if you're directly involved with it, it can be very hurtful to see something like that because it's an issue that brings up a lot of pain. And so I don't think that they should be shoving them in the face of people who don't want to see it, but they should handle it carefully. But I think that having them there to see is good can because it can affect people's opinions when they see the reality as opposed to just their own interpretation of it.
Sure.
So I think it's good, but it needs to be handled carefully. So
And do you think that being able to show these kind of graphic images, is that something that the government should allow? Should it be protected?
I think it should be allowed. I guess with some amount of consent from the viewer, because uh, I wouldn't want somebody just coming up and showing me gruesome images without my ability to say no, I don't want to see that. I want to turn and look away, something like that. I need to be able to not view it, but I don't think that they should take away somebody's ability to show images like that, unless they're doing it as an assault of images. I guess I would say.
Like if you were to see a picture of an aborted baby, like what kind of response does that evoke in you?
Well, I was raised Catholic, so I got to see all those awful videos and things, and I don't think it's necessary to be posting those kinds of images for the general public to see unless you've already spoken to them prior, like given them a brochure or something, or made yourself available to them. I don't think anyone needs to be seeing that out of their own will.
Sure. So do you think it's appropriate on a college campus to see pictures like that?
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think that it should be maintained to specific areas and only certain sizes. Do I think it's their First Amendment right? I suppose so when you break it down to that text, but I do think that there should be some regulations on that type of thing. I don't think that people need to be seeing those graphic images without any type of warning. Or maybe if there's a size requirement or something, it just seems a little unnecessary.